This is an intro. Who needs an intro? I don't need an intro. This is just a vape show. It's just a vape show. Vape show. This is an intro. Who needs an intro? I don't need an intro. This is just a vape show. It's just a vape show. Vape show.
YouTube, what is up? I'm your homeboy Josh, back at you with a look at the Aromamizer RDTA from SteamCrave. Come on in here, let's take a look at it. YouTube, today we're taking a look at the Aromamizer RDTA from SteamCrave. This is a rebuildable dripping tank atomizer. Comes in this sleek black box, magnetic closure. Open it on up and everything's laid out. You got your Aromamizer RDTA fully assembled without a coil, of course, because you have to build it. And you've also got spare glass, you've got an Allen key, you've got extra screws, you've got this extra vape band slash airflow control, because the way the airflow control works here is with this sort of vape band looking thing. Comes in a dual option and a quad option for the airflow. I mean, basically it's a vape band, you know, with holes cut into it. I kind of wish that it was metal. I think it would give it a more premium quality. At the same time, I like how easy it is to adjust with that vape band. You know, I can joke on it for being made of rubber, but to be honest with you, I actually kind of like it. It makes it really, really easy to adjust. It feels really nice in the hand, that rubberized finish when I'm gripping that to turn it. I like that it's interchangeable, that there's a quad airflow option, a dual airflow option. I kind of wish that there was also a single airflow option. That would be really nice, but I really like the way that it works. I thought that I'd find it too cheap or just kind of silly, but no, I actually really like it with the vape band style airflow adjustment. No complaints there. In terms of machining quality, in terms of how it arrived when it got to me, unopened box, opened it up, and it was really, really dirty. There was, I mean, basically it was black crud all over the outside of the barrel that shows the SteamCrave logo. It was just cruddy and black, and it took me a long time to wash that off. Needless to say, I mean, it took a good 3 washings before I got all the machine oil taste out of this particular product. Just make sure that you clean it up real good when you get it, because when I got it, it was grungy, to say the least. Was not impressed with the machine oil taste that, you know, was prevalent in my vape experience at first. Once you get that all cleaned up, you can screw the chimney on into the sleeve there, and it creates both the chimney and the drip tip connection. I kind of wish that the drip tip connection wasn't raised up like this. You know, I really prefer when my drip tips sit flush with, you know, my devices, and they're not raised up on some kind of a neck. You know, otherwise I feel like I'm vaping a giraffe personally. But, you know, it's not the end of the world. I just wish that they made that flush. And, you know, I've seen where some people have actually sliced this thing on off the top of their chimneys and sanded it on down smooth, and then they're able to flush their drip tips down onto the top of the RDTA. And I actually like the look of that. I might end up doing that sometime down the line. Quartz glass that they use for the tank section here is very tough glass. I have dropped it a few times and it has not cracked on me once. They give you an extra glass too, which is really, really nice. The airflow section slash drip section, I guess is what we'd call it. It's got airflow coming from each sides, 4 sides. So you've got airflow coming in from 4 directions here, one on either side of the posts and one on either side of where your coil would be if you were building a standard dual coil. This drip section, airflow section, also houses 8 vertical holes for your juice to travel. And that juice travels down the side of that airflow section, down the side of that drip section, over to the base. These holes also serve as your method of filling the RDTA, which I'm not the biggest fan of. They work, I just kind of wish that filling it was done with a top fill sort of method. I feel filling through these holes can be a little bit cumbersome. Anyway, the way the Aromamizer RDTA feeds juice to the coil is allowing the juice to travel down these 8 holes vertically to the bottom of the RDTA, the base section of your RDTA, which also houses your deck. The deck is a velocity style deck. It's got that 2-post, 2-terminal, side tension sort of design that'll accommodate pretty much any build that you can throw on this thing. Single coils, dual coils, quad coils, it can do it all pretty much. This deck is the kind of deck that both the novice builder and the more experienced builder will appreciate. You can fit pretty much anything you want in a deck like this. This 2-post, side tension, 2-terminal kind of post, velocity style post as they like to call it these days. One thing that's kind of cool here about the deck is that the deck just completely detaches from the base of the RDTA. So it kind of reminds me a little bit of the Nucleus RDA. If you guys remember the Nucleus RDA at all, it basically had this completely removable deck. And you could just build on just the deck with this before putting it on into that base. And it makes it very easy to build. I personally didn't build it that way, but it's nice to know that I had that option if I wanted to, or I could just take the deck completely out of the base, give myself plenty of room to build, and just build the deck before placing it into the base. It's pretty cool the way that that works. I like that. There are 4 little holes on the floor of this deck. And what's happening here is basically juice is running down the sides of this tank, making its way down to this deck, and then coming up underneath the floor of the deck and saturating your wicks. Now, when building this RDA, you want to make sure that your wicks are just touching the floor of the deck. That's it. You don't want a bunch of cotton at the bottom, just touching the floor. And that's about all there is to the Aromizer RDTA. With that said, we'll head on up top. Excuse me! Excuse me! I think you forgot to tell them something. I forgot? What did I forget? The drip tip. Oh yeah, the drip tip. The drip tip. You didn't mention the drip tip. You want to take the drip tip? Well, sure, I'll be happy to. The drip tip is pretty unique on an Aromizer product. If you've never seen one before, well, I mean, they all kind of come with this particular drip tip, and it's one thing that makes the Aromizer so unique. This drip tip acts as both a spit bat protection, and it actually is meant to improve the flavor on a SteamCrave product because it creates that tension in the airflow. It has 4 airflow holes in the drip tip, so you're not really sacrificing airflow or flavor when you're using this particular drip tip. In fact, it actually has the potential to improve the vape experience overall. With that, we'll see you guys on the top side. We'll vape on it. We'll talk about it. That was really good. You think so? Thank you. Well, YouTube, that is a look at the Aromamizer RDTA from SteamCrave. There's a lot to like about this RDTA and a lot of opportunities where it could be made better, if you ask me. I love the way it vapes. But I didn't always love the way that it vapes. No, when I first got this thing, EVCIGARETTES asked me if I would take a look at it, and when I first got it, I really didn't like it at first. For starters, it had like a lot of grit around, the top of it. It took a lot of washings. But aside from that, once I got it built, I really didn't like the thing. In my mind, it was called an RDTA. It was a rebuildable dripping tank atomizer, which meant to me I could build it like an RDA. But the truth is, not really. My first instinct was fuse Claptons, dual fuse Claptons, go-to build. One of the best builds as a daily driver, if you ask me, are fuse Claptons. Work great. So I tried it, and I put 2 horizontal fuse Claptons in here, and I wicked it up, and it just stayed dry. Like the vape, the experience of it just stayed dry. It never felt like a warm, saturated vape like I'd expect from an RDA. So what I did is I put out feelers into my social networks, Instagram, Facebook, and I asked if anyone knew what was going on with this because I just couldn't get a satisfying vape from it. The first thing everyone said was that I needed to cut my wicks short so that they're just touching the floor of the deck. Man, were they right. I'd originally stuffed the thing with cotton, like I would with an RDA, thinking that this is going to wick just as well as an RDA does. And no, that's not the case. You got to factor in the size of those juice flow holes at the bottom. Paulzilla X, another YouTuber, recommended to me that I actually drill out those juice flow holes in the bottom. I haven't done that yet. I kind of want to try it because I feel like it would make it even better than it is right now. But first thing everyone said was just touching the floor of the deck. So I did that. Still wasn't happy. Still wasn't happy. It was better. It was better. But I wasn't getting dry hits. They just weren't saturated enough, you know? So other people said try vertical coils. So I tried, rearranging that fused Clapton coil to a vertical coil. No, didn't help. Other people said try regular Canthal straight wire, no fused Claptons. That just wouldn't benefit this. So I tried that. No. Tried it as a vertical and a horizontal. No. I was about to give up on this thing. Okay, I was ready to basically, I know a lot of people like this thing, but I was just ready to throw my hands up and be done with it because I just was not happy with the thing. I was ready to throw in the towel. I was ready to be done with the thing. I just had enough of it. I had other things to do, and I was getting tired of trying to play with this. I'd already had it at that point for like 2 weeks. So, and there are other things I needed to get to. I still haven't gotten to my Petri. My Petri, I got the new top cap for it, and I was ready to put this aside. I was ready to mess with my Petri. So, stayed up late one night, and I went downstairs, and I was cleaning up some stuff because I made a mess of the table, and I was gonna, disassemble my Petri so I could put a new build in there. And as I'm disassembling the Petri, I see the last build I had in there. It was just an alien coil through the posts, in between the posts. And it got me thinking. So there's 4 juice flow holes in the bottom of the deck, right? If I have 2 coils in there and 1 wick per coil, that juice flow is getting split between 4 ends of wick if I'm using a horizontal coil. Now, if I do vertical coils, then it's just 1 length of cotton per 2 juice flow holes. So it's a little bit better. But then I realized, instead of splitting up the 4 juice flow holes over multiple coils and multiple wicks, what if I just had 1 coil in here and those 4 juice flow holes were all working to feed the same coil? And with a single horizontal coil through the posts, basically it's feeding 1 coil, 2 juice flow holes per length of wick. And that's what I did. I basically took the build I had in the Petri and I repurposed it for my Aromamizer. And it worked perfectly. Perfectly. I've been a pig in shit since then. Since then, I've been so happy with this thing. I honestly can't put it down. I really enjoy using it. I've been using it on a daily basis since then. I've been using it for, I don't know, almost a week that way. I love it. I love that build in here, that single coil between the posts. And I'm using an alien coil in there because I love alien coils, but you can do it with pretty much anything. You can do it with straight wire, I bet. You can do it with fused Claptons, would work great. Pretty much anything would work great in here with a single coil between the posts. It's just a wonderful vape. And now, what I do with that is I just kind of turn it just a little bit, because when you build it that way, the 2 air holes that would be in front of the coil are really just hidden cotton. And the 2 air holes on the sides are really just hitting the side of the posts. So I don't really like it as much that way. It's all the way tightened down that way right now. It's okay. It's not bad. But if I turn it just a little bit, you have to be careful because you don't want to turn it too much so that it's going to leak, but turn it just enough so that that side airflow is clearing the side of the posts. Then what happens is it's hitting that coil at an angle, and it's surrounding that coil in airflow. and it works really, really, really well that way. Tons of vapor, tons of flavor. It's basically on par with the experience of vaping an RDA. I love that. Love it. Excellent. Now that I've found a build that works for me here, now that I've found a way to build it to my liking so that it vapes the way I want an RDTA to vape, love it. Now, I still don't know if I classify this particular topper as an RDTA, honestly. I just don't know if I buy that. I mean, a rebuildable dripping tank atomizer. There's no dripping here. You know, the juice flow is coming from the bottom. It's a new take on an RTA, if you ask me, a rebuildable tank atomizer. I don't feel like I classify this as a rebuildable dripping tank atomizer. It's not the same thing. It's got that deck like an RDA, yeah, but the juice feeding system does not work like a rebuildable dripping tank atomizer. There are rebuildable dripping tank atomizers. This is not one of them. I'm sorry. This is an RTA, if you ask me. Okay? Doesn't mean it's bad. It just means I wouldn't call it an rebuildable dripping tank atomizer personally. I feel like that's misleading. But I really like the thing overall. Overall, I really like it. Now that I've found a build that I like in it, now that I understand how to build it to my liking, I love it. It does skirt the line, though. I will say that. It does skirt the line. In terms of the vape experience, I'd say built like this, it's on par with an RDA. On par. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, until next time, I'm your homeboy Josh. Vape on, Vapers.